Hey everyone, my name is Stephanie Rittermont and I'm the president of Courageous Living. Courageous Living is a life coaching business, and what we do here is we help maximize your gifts and talents within you so that you can live out the life that you want to live, and you can design it and plan it any way you want. And that's what our goal is here, is to help you see the potential in you, the greatness in you, and to live out that greatness. And so today I want to talk to you about the 5-second rule. I don't know if you know Mel Robbins, but she's a fantastic lady who's written books. She's going to be having a television show here in the fall. And my puppy ate the cover, so this is not the best version of the book, but it's called the 5-second rule. And this is a book that has really changed how I think. You know that if you just take 5 seconds, you can really maximize your thought process and turn a negative into a positive. And so that's my goal here today, is to help share some of those things with you so that you cannot stay in that default think mode that we usually go to, that comfort mode, and to get out of that and to start turning those negative thoughts around to live out the best life that you have for you in a positive and a motivated way. And so I want to share something with you on the 5-second rule. She says you can change your default mental settings and your habits one 5-second decision at a time. Those small decisions add up to major changes in who you are and what you feel and how you live. 5 seconds. Now how you do that is you count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you count backwards, it changes the way that your brain thinks. And so when you count backwards, it's really calling you to a change in action, a change in a thought process. So like when NASA, they count backwards before the rocket takes off, right? Because at the end of that counting system, there's a takeoff. The rocket's going to lift off. And it's the same for us when we count backwards. Our brain is used to going into default mode and going forward and going, okay, we're going to go to our comfort zone. You're going to panic. Fear is going to take over, and you're going to keep counting up. When you count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it changes that thought process. So now you say, okay, instead of hitting your snooze button in the morning, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to get out of bed. See, that's how it started for Mel Robbins. She was going through a really rough time. Her family situation was going through just really some challenges. And she found herself just always hitting the snooze button in the morning. So then she was running late to get the kids to school, getting their lunches, all that stuff, and it just causing more and more stress upon herself. And so she decided, you know what, I'm just going to do a 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. And that's how this started for her. And there really is some science behind it, but I won't take the time to go into that because you can read more about that in the 5-second rule book. But this is a book that I have found to be a lifesaver for me, because I was always going into that default mode and wondering why I couldn't turn things around quick enough and what was wrong with me. And sometimes there's just things that have gone on so much in our life and in our past, we're in this pattern. And so what this does is it challenges you to take charge. Because see, no one's going to do it for you, my friend. No one. Okay? And you might have some really good friends out there, and I'm not saying you don't, but you know, to their credit and their benefit, they're not going to always know what to say and do to help you get out of that. You know, and so it's going to be you taking charge over you and your life. So instead of hitting the snooze button on your life, hitting the snooze button on taking that job, or the snooze button on going for a job interview, or a snooze button on starting a new business, now you can do a 5-second rule. Now we have many 5 seconds throughout the day. So there's lots of opportunities to apply this. And sometimes it's different opportunities. Sometimes at work I use this in my head when I think, okay, you know what, when I kind of feel that wave of just not feeling like I'm accomplishing anything, in my head I'll say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I say, okay, you know what? You are accomplishing a lot. You're in the right place at the right time. You know, you are going to be moving forward. Whatever it is that I need to do to get out of that negative thinking, that loop that we get into over and over and over again. We can play that because we have it memorized, right? We've been playing it for years. That's that default mechanism. That's why it's just so natural to slip into. This is something that's going to take some challenging on your part, because you know what? The biggest resistance going to come from is you. You will be the biggest resistance because your brain is so used to going into the other mode. It's going to be like, wait a second. Wait, this isn't our normal thought pattern. And so when you make that change, You have to really work at it. You want to always get into that comfort zone, but you can't do that anymore because it's not accomplishing anything, okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. I'm going to think this and not that. In fact, she's going to have another book coming out on that. Think this, not that. Okay, so the 5-second rule. So remember that, you're never going to feel like it. Sometimes when I, especially on the weekends, things get really busy with my kids' sports. It's like, man, I really don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get on the road. I don't feel like it. But you know what? You have to do it. That's why you have to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because the resistance will come from you. There's no one else that's going to resist it. Unless you're changing friends, they might resist it. But your biggest resistance will come from inside of you because it's going to be different. It's going to take work. It's going to take you challenging yourself. But you know what? You can do it because it's 5 seconds. That's all it is. It's 5 seconds can turn things around for you. But you're not going to always feel like it, okay? And that's all right. As long as you know that, you're okay. You're going to be fine with it. That default mode is different for everyone, okay? The reason why you're counting backwards too is because if you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? What's going to happen? You're going to start to slide into that default thinking pattern that you've got. Then you're going to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, when I get to 15, then I'm going to do this. And it never stops, right? You keep on going because you're getting closer. You're leaning into that default mode of negative thinking, no progress, right? Comfort zone, right? That's what's going to happen. But when you do it in reverse, you're going to see the change. So I want to share a quote from you. It says, if you're searching for that one person who will change your life, look in the mirror. That's what I mean by it's going to take you to do this. You have to look in the mirror and say, you're the only one that can make this change. You're the only one that can make a difference in doing this. So look in the mirror and say, you've got this. You can do this. 5, 4, 3, 2. If I have 5 seconds, I can do this. I'm not asking for an hour. I'm not even asking for 60 seconds. 5 seconds is all you need to start turning your thought pattern around. I also like what Brené Brown says. She says, you can choose courage or you can choose comfort, but you cannot choose both. You can't have both. You can have comfort or courage. I named my business Courageous Living for a reason. Courage is taking, it's really stepping out into that unknown, that fear that might be facing you and pressing forward. And so you can't have comfort and courage. It's like the angel and the devil on your shoulder. It's either one or the other that you're going to listen to, but you can't do both because they both demand your attention. They both demand your time. The other thing I like about the 5-second rule, this is how I look at it. It forces me to get out of the boat. Maybe for you, that's getting out of your comfort zone, okay? So it reminds me of the story about Peter and the disciples when they are in a boat on the Sea of Galilee. And the Sea of Galilee is known for these sunstorms and waves that whip up. And they're all in the boat and they're panicking because the waves are splashing into the boat. And in the distance, Peter sees Jesus. And he says, Lord, call me and I'll come to you. And so he steps out of the boat. I've heard many preachings on this. And they always focus on the fear that overcame him and how he saw the waves and he panicked. But you know what I see? I see a man who got out of the boat. He didn't stay in the boat huddled in the corner with the waves splashing over him. He had the courage and the guts to get out of the boat. And a lot of times I have to think of myself as, you know what, Stephanie, it's time that you get out of the boat. You may have waves all around you. Fear is loud. Fear is a very loud voice. It can be paralyzing for some of us. Paralyzing in your thoughts, in your actions, in your emotions. I know because I've been there many, many times. But when you get out of the boat, you may have to face those things. But you may be surprised at how many of those things quiet down because you know what? You faced your fears. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Okay? And so when you step out of the boat and out of your comfort zone, you're facing that fear, which a lot of times is just a loud voice, a loud noise saying you can't do this. And it has no basis in your life. It has no ground to say that. It has no proof that it's even real or that it's even true. But we've believed it for so long that it becomes the truth for us, and it's not. I want to read from the book a few more people that you're probably familiar with. The Avengers star Mark Ruffalo. Do you know how many auditions he had to do before he landed his first role? Almost 600 auditions. Babe Ruth struck out 1,330 times. Our favorite vacuum cleaner, Dyson, well, there's no wonder why it does a good job, because James Dyson created 5,127 prototypes. And you know what? Picasso created nearly 100 masterpieces in his lifetime. But most people don't know that he created a total of more than 50,000 works of art. You see, a lot of times we are known for a few things because they hit the mark right at that moment. But people don't realize how much work went into it. You know, a lot of times with famous people will say, oh, they're an overnight star, but yet they'll say, hey, it took 20 years, 30 years for that overnight success. It's a process. It takes time. But if they gave up at the get-go on the first, what they considered a failure, which is actually a success because now you know what not to do. But if they did that every single time, you know what, they wouldn't have created the things that we now know them for today. But that's how we can be. So when we have that times where we are thinking negative, oh, I'm too old for this, or I'm not accomplished at this, we have to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say, you know what, if I don't do this now, I'll never know if I could do it tomorrow or the next day. We have 5 seconds where we can make a life-changing decision. And these people I mentioned, I don't know if they practiced the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but I know that they believed in themselves. I know that they had to fight the negativity to believe in what they were doing and the gifts and talents within them. I believe that with all my heart, that they somehow had to turn those thoughts around, that when people were saying, no, not you, you're not good at this, they had a tenacity within them, a belief system within them that pushed them forward. You know, Abraham Lincoln just didn't become president of the United States. He went through a nervous breakdown. He lost races. He had a lot of negativity that came against him. He just faced one battle after another after another. And even as a president, he went through just incredible criticism. But he believed in his purpose. He believed in what he believed in the future of America. And so whether they literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I do know they had to change the negative to a positive. They had to do something in that thought process to get to where they are, to where they're at today, or where they're at that in time. And so, my friends, the same for you is that 5-second rule. This is such a beautiful tool that's come across our path now, that if we just take the time to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we can change our life, we can change our thought process, we can make a difference with our friends and our family and our neighbors and the world around us. 5 seconds is all we need. You know, I was reading a story about the influential women of our time. And one of them was a 13-year-old girl, I believe she was 13, is Anne Frank. And we know Anne Frank because she's the one that kind of kept a diary when she was going through when the Nazis were coming in and they were coming against the Jews, and her family had to go to the concentration camps. And I've read more documentaries about her and how she had to survive. When she was in the concentration camps, you know, her friends were actually on the other side of the fence in another part of the camp, and they would throw bread over to her and food over to her to keep her going. But you know what? Her diaries and her influence and her positiveness in what she wrote and how she documented history has made her one of the most influential women of our times. Now, she didn't know it at the time, but you know what? She believed in something in her. She believed in something in her childlike faith that kept her going. And that we can still tap into that to this day. That she kept going. She kept believing the positive. And so, my friends, the 5-second rule really is beneficial. And I really hope that you will not only get the book, The 5-Second Rule from Mel Robbins, but that you will start implementing that in your life. So instead of hitting the snooze button in your life saying, I can't do it, I don't have the guts, I don't have the time, I don't have the gifts or the talents, just count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say, you know what, I can do this. I can pick up the phone and make that sales call. Or you know what, I can apply for that job. I have what it takes for that job. I can go to that job interview. Listen, 5 seconds is all you need, and you can turn things around in your life. And I believe that by the end of the week of practicing this, you're going to be amazed at how quick you're going to catch those negative thoughts from trying to come into your mind, and you'll be able to shut them down quicker than you ever have before. So my friends, in closing, I just want to say this, is that don't be afraid. Get out of the boat. Get out of that comfort zone because it's not serving you well. And do the 5-second rule. If you've got 5 seconds, and you do, you've got multitude 5 seconds throughout the day. Practice this. Instead of hitting the snooze button, maybe it's not to get out of bed, but it's just anything else in your life. You know what? Before you find yourself hitting the snooze button, say, you know what? No, I'm going to do the 5-second rule. I'm going to challenge myself because you can make it happen and only you can make it happen for you. So get the book by Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. Start reading it today. Start applying what I've been sharing with you already. Think this and not that and turn that life process around. Because my friend, if you just stay courageous and you continue to be curious and apply this 5-second rule, you will be amazed at how you will grow by leaps and bounds and accomplish things that you never thought you could accomplish. So my friends, until next time, stay courageous, stay curious about life, and continue to maximize those gifts and talents within you, and you will go further and farther than you ever thought possible.